And we start off with the traders who protested unfair taxes and Uganda Revenue Authority's electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solutions that they have agreed to reopen their shops as their leaders continue to consult further with the government. The decision follows President Sharon Museveni's directive to suspend all penalties against the traders temporarily, allowing for wider consultations. Take a look.
But you will not be penalized, and those who are penalizing and stopping your account, they should stop.
Traders have decided to reopen businesses as consultations go on with government.
President ayinza okubisayira ku magezi kuba kati president era yalina okutuyamba okulaba nga akisalira amagezi okulaba nga emisolo gikendeera nga naffe nga tukolera mu mbeera etali yakunyigirizibwa.
Leero twakomyewo ku mirimu. Mukulembeze atera okuwuliriza abantu be. Bwe baba nga kye bamunnyonnyodde, abakulembeze abatukiikiridde nga kye bamunnyonnyodde akitegedde bulungi, kakasa ayinza okubaawo enkyukakyuka mu ngeri emu oba endala.
This follows a meeting between traders under their umbrella body Kasita and other traders associations with President Museveni at State House Entebbe.
Bw'ogatta omuntu ataweza na bukadde 10 n'oyagala ayingire mu IFRIS n'ogatta n'owe biliyoni 3 n'ossa mu nkola omulundi gumu bakafayo eri mbasuubuzi yeeyo.
President Museveni assured them of his commitment to address their concerns.
Kana akavuyo akaliwo katandikirawo. Now, the techniques, I would like to study them, and then we meet again on the 4th with you people. But internally, I can meet these people on the 24th. The URA and finance and all that.
He also temporarily halted the issuance and recovery of penalties imposed by Uganda Revenue Authority.
But what I will not allow will be to penalize you. This penalizing, I will stop them from that you didn't do this, so penalty. No, that one I will. So that we get time to sort ourselves out. There will be no penalties. That one I will not allow because we are still sorting ourselves out.
The call for resuming business operations has also been further echoed by Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Hajat Misakabanda.
Bakwata abantu temuddamu kukwata abantu mu makubu. N'agamba bano bambadde nkusanga leta lisiiti kola otya zize ne penalties n'agasooge zisirikemu paka nga amaze okukola ky'okwetegereza ensonga eno. N'agamba ngenda kwetegereza ensonga eno nga 24 nziremu mpita abantu bano then tuddemu ate tukole ki tulabe ekyokola tuveeyo n'ekyokukola. Kyakitegeeza 24 bw'amala ng'ayimirizzaamu singa baddaga nti ŋŋaanye singa katuzeemu ate kukola ki kirala naye katugamba yagambye musooke mulinde kukitegeeza yatuwuliriza era tumwebaza.
Kampala City Traders Association Chairperson Thaddeus Musoke emphasized the need for a review of the 35% import duty tax burden imposed on traders.
Why do I charge heavily textile when there are raw materials? And comrades in Mbale, their raw materials not being charged. So now friends in Ham, Chiembe, the textiles are heavily being charged. So that wasn't right.
Security downtown has also resumed normal operations.
Yes, at the city center, in the city center, is back to normal. People are going on with their lawful businesses without any problem. As per the security situation, it is still normal, and we have scaled down our operation downtown. We are back to our normal operations of keeping the city safe.
The heart of the matter lies in the traders' discontent over unjust taxation practices, particularly the implementation of the electronic physical receipting and invoicing solutions by Uganda Revenue Authority. President Museveni will meet traders on May 7, 2024 at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. Justin Nakami in Kampala.
In the course of the week, President Museveni tasked Ugandans to prioritize on issues that foster value addition rather than handle multiple issues with no results. President Museveni, in so doing, it has been seen that Uganda is entering the lower middle income status. Now, this was during the commissioning of the Supreme Court of Appeal buildings in Kampala.
For over 57 years, the judiciary has been struggling to have a home for the appellant courts, the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal. In 1999, the idea of constructing these courts was unveiled. However, it remained shelved until 2014, when it was approved by the judiciary top management, and the construction kicked off in 2019. 4 years later, the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal buildings have today been commissioned with an aim of bringing services closer to the people, as the Permanent Secretary for Judiciary, Pras Bigirimana, explains.
A big statement to confirm that after all, government can deliver, especially when the players have got their what I call abundance mentality, coupled with patriotism. And all the funding has been from the government of Uganda.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni commissioned these buildings at the judiciary headquarters in Kampala, where officials from the executive, judiciary, and the parliament plus development partners were in attendance. Museveni commended the judiciary on this milestone, attributing it to patience and planning by the NRM government.
The ones who saw and mobilized all the rest of us. So I salute the CJs who are there, the Wambuzi, my schoolmate Odoki. Now I want to thank the judiciary again for what the CJ has correctly called original justice.
President Museveni further urged Ugandans to prioritize on matters that ensure value addition for the betterment of the country.
The commissioning of this building again confirmed that there is nothing you cannot do if we prioritize. At one time, the World Bank and the European Union didn't want to give us money for the roads. I don't know why. You know, they are usually running up and down. So I told my people, forget about these people. The Banyankole say, etajugira enyoko kobona ekirenge otunali. A cow which is not your mother's bride price, even if they give you a hoof, value to raw materials, but using knowledge to create products like the automobiles, Kira Motors. This is not just adding value, it is producing something out of so many elements using the brain.
On his part, the Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo said these buildings will save the judiciary 6 billion shillings annually.
The construction of these two buildings, the twin towers, comes 85 years after the construction of the High Court building as the headquarters of the judiciary in 1930. Creating courts in rented premises compromises the security of the courts. Second, the courts would operate in premises designed as business arcades or residential apartments.
The Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera, on behalf of all justices and support staff, said they are glad to have a home with no interruptions during work.
Never be proud of our twin towers. The judiciary's efforts are now geared towards transformation agenda, and the construction of such buildings will change our trajectory for good, since our good work, physical environment, and staff activities will be enhanced and staff morale will be high.
During the function, various people who saw the success of the completion of these courts were awarded including Emeritus Justices Benjamin Odoki, Bart Katrebe, Judiciary Permanent Secretary Pras Bijirimana, Chief Justice Owonyidoro, Engineer Abal, among others. Rebecca Nantongo, Susan Inabugude, UBC News.
In the week, a high-level meeting held at State House in Entebbe has paved the way for the establishment of the Kampala Marathon, a prestigious event with an investment worth $4.6 million. The meeting, hosted by President Sharon Museveni, saw the participation of Ambassador Dr. Amina J. Mohammed, the former Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Heritage and Culture in Kenya, Bob Verbeek, the CEO and founder of the renowned sports marketing agency, Golazo, Honorable Peter Ogwang, the State Minister for Education responsible for sports, and Odrek Rabogo, the Presidential Advisor on Special Duties and Chairman of PASAID, Uganda. During the meeting, President Museveni commissioned the government of Uganda's support by approving funding for the Kampala Marathon. The ambitious undertaking seeks to attract elite runners from Uganda and around the world, inviting global elite participants to compete in the annual event with an expected attendance of 20,000 runners. The organizers are committed to ensuring that the Kampala Marathon adheres to international standards and best practices. An experienced team led by the Ministry of Education and Sports and assisted by Bob Verbeek will oversee all aspects of the marathon's organization, from course management and participation registration to security and hospitality. The inaugural edition of the Kampala Marathon is scheduled to take place in November 2024. In other related news, Honorable Peter Ogwang informed the President that the National High Altitude Training Center in Kapchora is ready for commissioning. Chief Whip Dennis Hamson Oboa has asked Ugandans to support all wealth creation programs initiated by the President, whose dream is to transform Uganda into modernity. The government chief whip, who is also the Member of Parliament for Ajiri County, made the remarks today as the chief guest during the second graduation of 478 students, who include the second and third cohorts who successfully completed their vocational training at Lira Presidential Skilling Hub in Lango Sub-region.
A total of 450 students of the first and second intake, mainly from the districts of Moyo, Adjumani and Obongi in Madi sub-region, who successfully completed their vocational training, were awarded with certificates in 7 disciplines, including tailoring and design, hairdressing and makeup, building and construction practice, carpentry and joinery, welding and metal fabrications, bakery and confectionery, and leather processing. The skills, according to General Moses Ali, are hardly taught in our traditional school system, and yet the demand for them is ever increasing in Uganda and the wider East African community market.
As you go out, please take care of your life. Do not waste these skills that you have got from here. And the second advice, you must be trustworthy. And make sure that you work hard from outside as you have been doing here.
For those who have got this knowledge to go and act it fully. And I'm asking the district leaders to have provision of giving these young boys a provision of getting capital so that they start the work immediately, and we shall see the fruitful.
He further encouraged young women who have been part of the program to aggressively engage the local leadership structures on ground to ensure more girls get the skills. State House Comptroller Jane Bareche thanked the Ministry of Education and the Directorate of Industrial Training for making the certificates legal and recognizable worldwide.
To you, our children, when you go out there, the first selling factor is discipline. When you have discipline, you can get a job. When you have discipline, your things can be sold. When you have discipline, even your parents can tolerate you up to the extent of getting you capital.
Training in the presidential skilling hubs is guided by the Directorate of Industrial Training. Several skilled youth who delivered testimonies of success thanked President Museveni for skilling them.
As time goes, in the second month, I was able to get 1.8 because I now started with one in a day. I get 60,000. Where do I get my customers? I am nearby health center. That is health center 2 called Maduga Health Center 2 in Obong district, and I have a school nearby school, and I have a landing site. There is a market, so business I think is not a problem from me.
The First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni has contributed 50 million Ugandan shillings to the Chankwanzi District Women Bank to facilitate its operations. The 15 million cash has been delivered by the Lands Minister Judith Nabakowa during this year's Women's Day of the district.
The late Umukuka Emeritus Wilson Weyasa Wamimbi has been buried. In a message delivered by the Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, during the burial of the late Umukuka, President Museveni lauded the late for his tireless works that saw Masaba land and Greater Mbale transformed.
The late Umukuka Emeritus Wilson Wamimbi was a great pillar in the Masaba cultural institution that even while he served his people, he did not dent his nation or promote negative repute within and outside this country. His reign was peaceful and he worked hard with dignity and distinction towards improving the welfare of his people.
According to President Museveni, late Wamimbi served in Masaba Cultural Institution with devotion and commitment, urging the Masaba to emulate his legacy.
Umukuka Emeritus Wilson Wamimbi's legacy is deeply woven into the fabric of Bugisu's history. Having served as Mbale District Chairman in the 1990s and later representing Uganda as Ambassador to Canada. We appreciate the role he played working with other cultural institutions in Uganda, and today we hail the legacy he has left and pray that it is upheld to inspire generations to come.
The current Umukuka, Jude Mike Mudoma, commended the works of the Umukuka Emeritus Wilson Weyasa Wamimbi, who he praised as an icon of unity, peace and love among the Bamasaba.
We shall greatly miss his importance and his continued call to maintain the power of togetherness and unity. His love and dedication to serve his nation with an exceptional resilience will continue to be inspirational to us as Bamasaba and the nation is served. He was both a worship representative of our people and a great loved friend of this country. I feel a sense of personal loss in his passing because he was my mentor.
Meanwhile, the opposition chief whip, John Baptist Nambeshe, called upon government to fulfill the president's pledge of constructing the Palace of Inzuya Masaba Cultural Institution.
I would like to request you to do the needful and ensure that you liaise with the minister, the relevant line minister, to have this presidential pledge honored, because among all the cultural institutions, Bugisu was left out.
The late Umukuka Emeritus Wilson Weyasa Wamimbi was born in 1938. He died on 13th April 2024.
We're so sorry about the mishap, but that was a story about the loss of the fallen Umkoka Emeritus Wilson Wamembi Wese, who died last week. We move on with the First Lady, who contributed 50 million Ugandan shillings to the Chankwanzi District Women Bank, I beg your pardon, to facilitate its operations.
The Lands Minister Judith Nabakoba has graced this year's Women's Day celebrations for Chankwanzi District. She has been representing the First Lady, also Minister in charge of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni.
On days like this, we also remember the women who joined hands with the NRM government to pave the way for us to experience the empowerment that women across Uganda now enjoy. It is our collective responsibility as women and men in Uganda to continue keeping this fire burning so that the work of previous generations is put upon and not forgotten or even reversed.
Nabakoba also tasked the Chankwanzi District Security Committee to watch over land-related matters within this area.
I therefore urge women with influence and those of a higher social standing to open up their networks to less advantaged women. This will provide opportunities for mentorship and personal development, thus nurturing their talent and preparing them for leadership in a variety of settings.
President of the celebration was the chairperson of the National Men Council, Hajat Farida Kimbowa. The Chankwanzi District Woman Member of Parliament, Catherine Bukenya Sendaula, sounded the need for women to embrace agriculture. To celebrate and empower women in this area, Sendaula has opened up a women's village bank, thus thanking the First Lady for the support of 50 million shillings, which has been delivered by the Lands Minister, Judith Nabakoba.
Therefore, I thank you for coming here in large numbers and for your initiative and foresight as women of Chankwanzi District to establish a circle to promote your economic empowerment. I believe efforts such as these are very much aligned with this year's theme.
The area members of Parliament, led by that of Ntwentwe County, challenged women to embrace marriage regardless of its burdens. Local leaders, especially women, held governments for fronting them at key leadership positions at all levels. Robert Onyango, BBC News.
In more stories during the week, the Minister of State for Defense and Veteran Affairs, Oleru Hude, has expressed concern over the emergence of divisive ideologies in the region and around the world, with some propagating hate and inciting violence. Oleru said this affects communities. She was at Golo Genocide Memorial Site in Mpigi during the 30th commemoration of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda.
Rwanda and Uganda joined at the Golo Genocide Memorial Site, commemorating the 30th anniversary of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda. The event paid tribute to thousands of genocide victims who were swept into Uganda by River Kagera and deposited on the shores of Lake Victoria.
Throughout this 30th commemoration period, the world should stand in solidarity with Rwanda and ensure that Never Again slogan becomes a reality with tangible action.
The Rwanda High Commissioner to Uganda, His Excellency Joseph Rutabana, says these celebrations reflect on the transformation journey of Rwanda. He appealed to United Nations to be recommitted to prevent genocides and other related war crimes around the world.
We also unite because unity of Rwandans is and will always be paramount, and we renew because resilience, but not despair, by survivors of the genocide
and the whole nation have been a key factor for renewing lives, what we say in Kinyarwanda, kwiyubaka.
The State Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs, Ole Ruhuda, who represented the Ugandan government, was concerned over the hate speech and distortion of facts about the genocide, which incite violence in communities.
And the scale and the impact of the hate speech and disinformation are nowadays amplified by the new technologies and social media. Genocide happens when humanity's moral compass fails. Hateful ideologies proliferate and state-sanctioned dehumanization of an entire group is allowed to spread. In order to secure a future with the peace, unity, and dignity, we must firmly speak out about all forms of racism and discrimination.
Some of the survivors thanked the Rwandan government for the peace and unity since the genocide. These, however, appealed for justice.
I can never forget what my eyes saw, because this image always comes back in my mind. He brought a child of 5 years, a Tutsi child. That's how I saw that they had wicked hearts.
Other genocide memorial sites in the country include Kasensero in Rakai, where 2,875 bodies were buried, and Lambu in Masaka, where 3,336 bodies were buried. Lydia Chomkama and Juma Samba, UBC News.
State Minister for Luwero Rwenzori, Alice Kaboya, has assured all veterans that the government is concerned about their living status. She was commissioning the house for the sister to the late James Karuhanga, who was executed in broad daylight in 1973 in Mbarara.
The Office of the Prime Minister, through the Ministry of Luwero Rwenzori Triangle, is constructing houses for the veterans who contributed in the war to enable them live in a good condition. The family of the late veteran James Karuhanga in Kinshasa, Mbarara City, who was executed on 10th February 1973, is the fifth to benefit in this project. State Minister for Luwero Rwenzori Triangle, Alice Kaboyo, commissioned the house constructed for the sister to late James Karuhanga. During the commissioning, Minister Kaboyo assured veterans in different places the government is caring about them and measures are being done for them to live a better life.
We have, this one is, we started only last year, last financial year. This is the fifth. We still have 2 in the pipeline. We are slow but sure.
Minister also appealed to all people with information about the war to document records to enable the young generation to learn.
For people to know our history, where Uganda has come from. And I'm sure you have heard this story. Some of you have told me that you have heard it for the first time here.
Esther Tumwine, the beneficiary and the sister to the late Karuhanga, narrates the situation when his brother was being executed during the day. I am so happy that President Museveni has remembered and constructed for us a house to live in. The head of National Resistance Army, Archives Sarah Bananuka, witnessed the killing of late Karuhanga and shares the emotions.
And at midday, it came in the news on UBC News. And they showed him. He was standing on a pickup, and it looked as if there were some dead bodies in the pickup, but they were covered. But him was standing and you could see him. And the news said, James Karuhanga, a teacher of national teacher and Chambogo College School, was harboring gorillas. So they took him. Thereafter, I think about a few days, he was killed by firing squad in Mbara here. Boma grounds.
The Mbarara City Woman legislator Rita Atukwansa reminded government to reorganize the Kalyanolia mass grave as a tourism site.
They have finally found where he was buried in a mass grave with 80 other people. That is good history. You might think, oh, he was buried, how is that important for Uganda? Very, very important. Because 50 years from now, we will be reminiscing the life of the NRM, how it will transcend, and what will happen thereafter. When we travel around the world, those are the monuments that make money. You know, you are going to see where Hitler was buried, or you are going to see where the battle for Waterloo started. Even when we go to Rome, these are some of the places you visit. So it is very important.
Engineer Brian Buhanda from NEC Construction says the house has been finished in scheduled time, thus advising family to maintain it in good condition.
Each house has been taking us on average 2 months to be built and complete. As I said, we have made these houses maintenance free for that is in line with the finishes that we put on them, the external finishes. And we hope if they are well maintained by the beneficiaries, they should last more than 50 years.
The house has a kitchen, water tank, and a latrine at a cost of 177 million Ugandan shillings. Andrew Sebira compiled this report for UBC News.
The Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, Dorothy Chisaka, has urged all KCCA staff to fulfill their duties, aligning with the objectives outlined in the NRM Manifesto 2026. Chisaka made these remarks during the KCCA Staff Engagement Conference in Kampala.
In a bid to enhance service delivery, Kampala Capital City Authority held a staff engagement to recommit themselves to how they can better the services in the city. Stressing the significance of such engagements, the Executive Director Dorothy Chisaka emphasized their role in self-evaluation and improvement within the institution.
We are here to revitalize our purpose. Why were we employed? Why are we Team KCCA in the city? That is why we are here.
Despite acknowledging the authority's achievements, including the parish development model and revenue collection, Chisaka called for heightened efforts to address unresolved challenges.
The people are complaining that we are using excessive force in the implementation of law and order. While we have to implement trade order, must we beat those women? There are delays in garbage collection. There is slow speed in the roads construction. Those are the complaints we are hearing. There are overcrowded health centers. There are dilapidated markets.
Notably, corruption remains a persistent concern raised by the public.
There is the never-ending complaint of corruption within our offices. And corruption may not be that you've taken money, but you've delayed to deliver a service which is construed as a corrupt act. These things should not be heard within our quarters.
In a similar vein, Deputy Executive Director David Luyimbazi urged KCCA staff to adopt a servant mindset rather than a boss mentality when serving the city's residents.
Let's be simple. Let's stop being bosses. We're here to provide services. The day we walk out of that authority and we need services and we've left monsters in office is the day you will know that you did a bad thing to yourself. So we are planting seeds of what we're going to find out there, because we're not going to stay in City Hall forever.
The staff were, however, urged to diligently fulfill their objectives, aligning with the NRM Manifesto by 2026.
Let us do better, let us do more, let us excel in our delivery of the vision of the smart city.
Simon Kasiate, the Public Relations Officer of KCCA, outlined the committee's commitments following the engagement.
What may not be going as well as the citizens are able to appreciate, but we also know that there's quite a lot that we have done that's commendable. So today's engagements are to reaffirm our commitment, to show our unwavering spirit towards service delivery.
The emphasis remains on servant leadership and a renewed dedication to improving service delivery in the city. Justin Nakami, UBC News.
The Minister Chancellor from the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Republic of Uganda, FAN, has appreciated the government of Uganda for granting Chinese living in Uganda freedom to practice their culture. This was contained in his speech during the International Day of Chinese Language at Makerere University.
The International Day for Chinese Language was attended by students taking Chinese, teachers, Chinese living in Uganda, Makerere University lecturers, and delegates from the Chinese Embassy.
I've done a specific job in supporting us in studies.
Dr. Yuan outlined the key components of the occasion.
I think it is a really big event here in Uganda for people from Uganda and for Chinese people here who from both sides who are really excited and gather together here to celebrate the International Chinese Language Day.
A senior lecturer from the Department of Performing Arts and Film who represented the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, Jessica Toki Kahwa, appreciated the Chinese for the good cooperation with Makerere University.
A person from Performing Arts and Film at Makerere University, this is a real honor that I'm invited to be part of this celebration, to see for myself what the Chinese Institute, the Chinese Language Institute is doing at Makerere. From the Chinese minister that they are planning to increase and intensify the collaboration between Uganda and China in terms of business, economics, and also language and culture.
Fan Zhoueng, the Minister Chancellor from the Chinese Embassy, disclosed that Uganda makes them feel comfortable.
With the brothers, we have a very friendly traditional relationship for more than 60 years. We support each other not only in international issues but also for the development.
Students at the celebration commended the occasion.
And me, as a student, I'm one of the pioneers of Chinese language.
Gain more experience as in here. We're going to get used to using chopsticks.
The experience is very good. I really like Chinese because I'm getting a lot of experience.
The occasion involved showcasing of China activities such as music, dance, and kung fu. Benon Mukwaya, Kayumba Stephen, Makerere.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja Kigezi segment. If Uganda is the Pearl of Africa, then Kigezi must be the Pearl of Uganda. Learn about how the Bachiga, Bafumbira and Batwa are the oldest republicans in Uganda.
Kigezi as such.
We are different groupings. Bachiga,
Batwa,
Bafumbira.
And there was no king as such.
In some of these other places, they say every Mchiga is a king in their home.
We have always been Republicans.
My great-grandfather called the Katuleje. He resisted them. Whom I talked about.
This queen
mobilized the whole of Kigezi, Rwanda to rebel.
Premiering on Saturday the 4th of May, 3 to 8 p.m. at Ndere Center, Ntinda. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Ebiseera by'okusaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukalubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanyi kuzunga na banka siripsi? Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga onyezi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
Welcome back to UBC News Weekly Roundup. The Minister for Luwero, Rwenzori Alice Kaboyo, has assured palm growers in Kalangala of government support to grow the sector. This was during the annual general meeting of palm growers under the umbrella Sese Oil Palm Growers Cooperative Society Limited, held in Kalangala.
Palm oil growers in Kalangala under their umbrella association, Sese Oil Palm Growers Cooperative Society Limited, have held their annual general meeting to reflect on successes, challenges and way forward. During the meeting, the chairperson of the board, Changcho Diamond, highlighted some of the challenges and successes registered.
We are starting the nursery bed because, Honorable, of recent we have bought land about 67.7 acres that we are going to put there nursery bed. So we are going to begin that. We are going to import those seedlings and have those nursery bed done.
He also appealed to State Minister for Luwero Rwenzori Triangle, Alice Kaboyo, to remind President Museveni over the unfulfilled pledges to palm growers.
Honorable, where you have passed, that road is very bad. And some time back, His Excellency was talking of tamaki. So if it is there, that would have been very okay.
Ambassador Philip Odiro advised farmers to focus on developing the palm growing.
From what we have, you are the best cooperatives in Uganda. And therefore, it is important for us to work with you to make sure you succeed so that others can come and learn from you.
Ngachija kuleta amakungulanga mangi nene gakendera mukonga ate olinamu akasente olusika wali wewozeemuko mu banka akati ogendogera kuti akasente kagana okukola kyokuvaayo bulungi.
Have agreed to constitute the disciplinary committee which will work with CID under Kalangala district with police to make sure that we can control the farmers' garden and safety of FFB.
During the AGM, State Minister for Luwero Rwenzori Triangle, Alice Kaboyo, pledged to present the farmers' grievances to Cabinet.
Mwangambye challenge ezizamwe ate ngenda kuzireportinga. Mwagala enguudo, oluguudo luno. Mwagala amasomero ga government agasomeseza. Mwagala fertilizers ensusule ezikola omulimu omulungi. Esitono na butonde bwansi. Ye mirimu gya government nange ejo mirimu gya government ate ngenda kugikola ki kujanjura.
She launched the shop for palm growers of Kalangala.
Skills training and financial support to local farmers and refugees in Moyo and Obongi districts is changing commercial agriculture and management of families. Now, this is through Security, Protection and Economic Empowerment Project funded by the European Union to refugees and host communities.
Peter Mangbi is a farmer in Azi Village, Moyo District, a beneficiary of the Supreme Project through Amarare Village Savings and Loans Association. He trained in crop management.
I'm farming, but not like this one, because at that time I'm missing training. After I was coming, I got the training to do this my farming.
After the training, Mangwi was given 5 million Ugandan shillings as a startup capital. From 2023, Mangwi started tomato production as a venture and eventually started supplying tomatoes to Moyo and Adjumani towns.
I'm selling Adjumani, Moyo town. I'm supplying all Moyo town. Yeah, thank European Union because when they are not there, my life is not like this. When I see my background, I cannot pay my school fees. But now the European Union comes, I pay my school fees.
In 2023, he got 9 million shillings, and later this year he realized 15 million shillings from the tomato sale. Refugees in Palorinya also attained skills including tailoring and agriculture.
Really, with the Spring project, we thank a lot those who have taken poultry. After when their chickens have grown, the community buy what they want. For those also who have taken to be the tailors, services are available within. Since I was enrolled in, I have changes in my life.
However, climate change remains a challenge to agriculture and animal husbandry, being exacerbated by bush burning and deforestation.
These days where the challenge is the sun heat is too much. You see this day the trees, people are just cutting and then they cannot even plant there.
Peter Oyat, the Refugee Welfare Council 2 for Zone 1 of Palorinya Settlement, says many refugees who benefited from the project have improved livelihood.
When you see them making this, they have the sewing machines. Not only this, when you go to the market, you find some of them are selling in the market. They have that knowledge. I think it improved their livelihood economy in their families. But with this project of Supreme, we have seen the impact.
The 4 years the Supreme project started in 2020 and is expected to end by July this year.
So this project, I would say, has been one of the high impact projects. We have done a lot of capacity building. We have used many modules in this project, starting from the SDC module and also financial literacy. That ended up changing their mindset, and that mindset was the one which propelled the changes.
Joseph Odama, UBC News.
And that brings us to the end of the weekend edition. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha. Have a blessed day. You can catch me later at 8 and 10 p.m. for more news coming your way. My name is Sharon. Once again, bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. This weekend on UBC.
Our UPDF schools are not the way people used to perceive them. We have learners who are getting 8 and 8 in 8, and these are soldiers' children. So for soldiers, my colleagues, the soldiers know that we can provide the best quality education in these UPDF schools.
If they could aim at making UPDF schools model schools, and the best schools are army schools.
Provide quality and affordable education to soldiers' children.